Happy Sunday. It is January 7th. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot, and welcome to Wasatch Weekends. I had a conversation earlier in the week with Ember Conley, the Director of Fun, i.e. Executive Director of Park City Institute, all about the things that they have coming up for this winter season and beyond, plus how to reframe a problem. We are in 2024, and that means that you are looking to establish new goals and strategies as you move throughout the year. But before we get started with all of that, let's take a look at today's weather. The Park City Institute brings such incredible culture and arts and entertainment to our community. Ember Conley talks all things Ballet Next, which is happening today, plus more. Let's take a look. Now, our next guest, she is a legend around town. You know, we love her at Park City Television. Now she is the interim executive director of the Park City Institute. I've got Ember Conley joining me this morning. Ember, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having us.
Now, you are known internally as a director of fun. So tell me a bit about what that title means and what the Park City Institute does.
Right. So the Park City Institute was founded back in 1998. A group of community members came together and had a vision of bringing world-class performances, entertainment to Park City. And they partnered with the school district and built the Eccles Center. So through donations, through massive fundraising, we were able to build the Eccles Center, which is just, when we think about theaters across the United States, it's really a shining star. It is the premier theater for Sundance. So we partner with Sundance, getting ready to do that. And we bring performances anywhere from live performances of dance, music, well-known authors and speakers in the winter. And then in the summertime, we have a multi-year contract with Vail at Canyons, and we provide the outdoor concerts from the 4th of July to Labor Day at the Canyons.
I love the outdoor concert series. It's so much fun, especially last summer. I had a blast. I can't wait to see the lineup for this upcoming summer. So
we have an incredible lineup.
I can't wait for that to be revealed to the masses. Now, speaking of lineups, we are currently at the start of the winter season. And so you've got an incredible list of performances happening, and specifically this weekend, Ballet Next. So tell me a bit about that performance and future performances as well.
You know, one of the things that I love about this role is, first of all, meeting the talented artists. But one of the things I love even more is being in Park City, because we, in our lovely community, we attract some really unique, talented, intelligent individuals. And Michelle Wiles, who is the founder and the lead ballerina for Ballet Next, is one of those individuals. Michelle is out of New York. She was trained since the age of 10 and was the premier ballerina for the American Ballet Theater out of New York. And long story short, she ends up being in Park City, and her husband moved to Park City, and they start Ballet Next. So when we think about the world of ballet, she's a big deal. Mm-hmm. She's bringing in her dancers as well as live music, and the musicians that she brings in for this weekend in particular are truly outstanding. We have a concert pianist that's joining her for one of the dances. We have string FX, who are a string instrumentalists, and then we have a well-known harpist that's, again, when we talk about these individuals that are bringing these performances to our stages, it's really remarkable that they're happening in our sweet small town. So it's Sunday, 3 o'clock. Doors open at 2:30, and we still have a few tickets in our reserve seating. They are getting full, but we have plenty of seats in our general admission.
I love that. I grew up dancing, so to have somebody from the American Ballet Theater in our local neighborhood is just absolutely incredible. I love that. And it sounds like a really fantastic mix of classical and modern ballet and music.
Well, she has a vision, and as a former educator, her vision is that a student's first ballet is seen on our theater and that they get to experience it free. And so when we talk about Park City Institute being a nonprofit, partnering with individuals and companies like Ballet Next really hits that mission for us, that we can bring world-class entertainment, but we're also providing incredible student outreach opportunities. And new this year, we're building on this idea of creative aging. As our population across the United States is getting older, we're seeing the same in Park City. And of course, being in Park City, everyone's super active. And so we really are trying to do some study groups and partner with some of our aging population here in Park City.
Can you explain a little bit further or more in depth about what those study groups look like and how you are really planning to support the aging demographic in Park City?
Yeah, it actually started. My mother struggled with dementia, and we lost my mom about 2.5 years ago. And part of her therapy that she had was being involved in music and exercise class with dance. And you could see the neurological improvements that she would have on a daily basis when she engaged in those activities. And so when I started working with Michelle, we started thinking about, well, what can we do for our seniors? And so one of the first things is being able to do some workshops. So we have some workshops planned in May where we'll be able to go to the senior center here in Park City. Right now it's 6 sessions, 1 hour each. And then they're able then to come to a performance free, of course. This performance that we're talking about on Sunday, we always provide low cost or at no cost tickets to our seniors. So we have a group of seniors coming there. And as this progresses, it's been interesting. The federal government has put in blocks of funding for states to expand this whole idea of creative aging performances because they're really seeing the health benefits. So we've written a couple of grants with the Utah Cultural Alliance and the Utah Arts and Museums. And so we're hoping to be able to tag on to those and then continue to work on it, right? Like, what does this look like for our seniors and what do they want to see on our stages?
I think that's such an incredible program because, who doesn't want to continue performing or dancing or moving your bodies in ways that people generally limit to the younger population. So this is an excellent and really great program that you're spearheading. So if we wanted to contribute to the Park City Institute, how can we do that? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you. So we have sponsorships for our winter series and then of course our summer series, and sponsorships start anywhere from $1,000 all the way up to $150,000 for our corporate sponsors. And the really cool thing that this provides is those sponsorships helps us provide those student outreach opportunities. And we have a couple coming up that maybe at a later time I can share those with you. The sponsorships, of course, include show tickets. They include awesome meet and greet exclusive benefits. In fact, just this last weekend, we did an exclusive event for our sponsors, actually with the ballet dancers, with Michelle Wiles, and had live music. It also, with Sundance coming up, some of our levels get tickets to the Sundance experience because, of course, we are the theater that is the lead theater for Sundance. And all of that information can be found on our website, www.parkcityinstitute.org. We're on Facebook, and we are, of course, on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, so at Park City Institute.
Excellent. Now, can you tell us what else is coming up that we can look forward to?
Yeah, we have an incredible lineup. Two, I would like to highlight. One is Wendy Troxel. She is a PhD international sleep expert. She's going to be providing an overview of her book, have a book signing, and then go in depth of how we can improve our sleep. And I think anyone that I talk to is, wow, we all need some help there. So she's on February 8th at 7:30, and we're excited to have her. And then I would say one of the next one I'm super excited about is Cirque Mechanics. So this is a full Cirque show that they tour with. And they're going to be in Park City in March. So March the 15th. And it's going to be just an incredible show. And I do anticipate that to be sold out.
Well, that sounds like it's just a wide range for all the senses. Sleep and stimulation from a Cirque performance. Sign me up, I'm in. Well, great. Well, Ember, we appreciate you. Thank you for sharing a little insight to what the Director of Fun looks like and all the opportunities that you have with Park City Institute. We appreciate you. One more time, can you tell us where to go for more information?
You can. Thank you. So www.parkcityinstitute.org. And our Facebook, Instagram is at Park City Institute. And of course, our box office, 435-655-3114.
Sounds great. There's no way to miss any of the opportunities based on all of the platforms that you are providing information on. So we appreciate you, Ember. And thanks for coming on the show, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Now stay tuned. We have a bit more here on the show. We'll be right back after this. Conflicts and problems can maybe not be a bad thing. We have a conversation with Adventures in Coaching on how to reframe a problem.
I am joined now on the couch by Kim Smith of Adventures in Coaching to share with us some more advice on how to improve our careers. So welcome to the show, Kim.
Thanks so much, Ben. It's great to be back.
Well, it's great to have you again with some more fantastic advice for us. So last time you were on, we were talking a little bit about teams and how to kind of get teams oriented a little bit and help them succeed. But we're shifting gears a little bit once more to talk about problems. So we encounter problems in our careers all the time, but they don't necessarily need to be a bad thing, do they?
Not necessarily, although I think a lot of people think they are, right? Oh gosh, the problems are so difficult or insurmountable. How do I get over them?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly can be a thing, but a lot of problems can present us with opportunities too, right?
Yes.
They force us to make change, and there's always a way to come out with some positive change.
Exactly. If you have that mindset, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is really how do we shift that, oh, this is such a big problem and I don't know what to do, and therefore we get stuck often when we're in that problem versus looking at something as an opportunity and reframing it as that. I just love this topic because so many of us, whether we're in business or whether it's our personal lives, we can take a look at, anything from this new framework.
Well, and even if it's not necessarily a problem, it can still be an overwhelming task. So in the event that you are facing with a monumental issue, a big problem, how do you recommend starting to tackle something like that?
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? So, and I like to say, rather than issues or problems, I like to say challenges, actually. If you can start reframing it by looking at it as a challenge, it no longer has such a negative connotation. And then when you start asking yourself, well, hey, is there another way to look at this? What is the opportunity? And oftentimes we really can't. We're so used to being in that problem and maybe even, down about it, or maybe even in that place where sort of like have this victim thinking where, oh, poor me, I can't do anything about this. Sometimes it's hard to start looking at things as opportunities, and that is where a coach can come in, or you can get feedback from others. Like, what's another angle here?
So if we're trying to change that mindset from, oh my God, this problem is so big, how am I going to get started to tackle it, to, all right, this challenge that's facing me is going to give me an opportunity to really improve my situation or improve my position at work, how would you recommend getting to that point where we're seeing something differently?
Yeah, well, it really is a multi-step process, and you just outlined a bunch of them right there, so you're totally getting this. It's awesome. So, looking at the problem or the challenge, and then thinking about it as an opportunity, and then maybe thinking like, what are the solutions? Like, what is it that I need to do to create this opportunity, to create the solution? And then thinking about what might be different once you're in that solution. So that's a way to kind of look at it pretty far forward into, I don't know, the future. I mean, it may be only one conversation away, but thinking about the difference can really help to motivate you to kind of continue looking at pushing through the problem and maybe getting out of your comfort zone a bit to ask for what you need, or maybe it's setting a boundary or coming up with some new ideas and presenting it to a leadership team.
So you're recommending a little bit of like trying to see our challenge through to the end and use that success as inspiration to help us work through.
Yes, absolutely. And I highly recommend writing these things down so that you can go back and check in and have an accountability partner. Maybe it's a friend or coworker, a manager, a coach. It just depends. But having somebody that can help you kind of think through the obstacles that might be in the way, the roadblocks that are getting in your way from being successful and creating an opportunity from a challenge.
So as a professional coach, if I was facing a huge project and I wasn't quite sure where to start, and it was really like just the scope of the whole thing, I wasn't figuring out where to begin, and if I was, excited about the end of the project, but that's just the hurdle of the project itself, how would you as a coach kind of help me through that first step of getting the inertia needed to begin surmounting that challenge?
That's great insight that you have there, because it is about, figuring out how to take those first baby steps. And me as a coach, I don't always know what your first baby steps are, but I'm going to work with you to try and pull those out of you and then help you to take those and give you the courage, encourage you and empower you to take those steps so that you can walk through that fear. And if that fear is insurmountable, like you were talking about, like you just, you want to get to the end of the project, but you don't know how, then we talk about that fear and what that limiting belief might be that's holding you back from taking those first steps. And often if we just start taking one little step, another one will become clear as we get there. But, also having a roadmap is very important. Doesn't mean that you have to stay on that exact path the whole way, but sort of having an idea of like, okay, I do this first. Maybe I need to get a little more experience over here or some education over there, but then I can take that next step.
Well, and those roadmaps, they don't have to be every single step A to Z, right? It can be A and F, and maybe G and E and a couple together, but like sometimes we just need to get started to kind of figure out what some of those steps are.
Yeah.
So how would you recommend kind of facing those limiting beliefs and some of that fear if you've got a decent plan, but you don't have every single step of the process worked out? And that can definitely leave some people feeling nervous.
Yeah, a lot of us like to have the answers before we start something, which I call like the problem with perfectionism. And sometimes we hold on to like, I'm not going to do anything until the plan is perfect, until I have it all figured out. I'm not willing to go A to F, right? I want to go A, B, C, D. So it's the problem with perfectionism. And can you let yourself, off the hook a little bit and say like, it's going to be good enough. Even if I just take these few steps, maybe I'll run into some more roadblocks and maybe it won't be right. Maybe I'll make a mistake, but that's okay. Because half the fun of the journey is kind of going off trail, right? And maybe like, oh gosh, I'm a little bit lost. And then you find your way back again and think how good you feel once you've maybe done a little diversion and found something you weren't expecting.
Well, and it's hard to learn without those little diversions, those extra challenges too. I mean, something that I've always faced in my life is I am cripplingly perfectionist. Like I am
That's why you smiled when I said that.
People, exactly. I'm 100% one of those people who I have to drill it into myself to not let perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
And there's so many times it's like, man, I'm not quite sure this will be perfect. I gotta start anyway. I just gotta do it anyway. And it sounds to me like reaching out to you is a great way to kind of
Yeah.
help bridge that gap and help get a little bit of outside motivation and outside help if we're really having a hard time
Exactly.
getting over that little bit of a hump, that little bit of a limiting belief.
Right,
So,
and that little bit of limiting belief might end up being a bigger limiting belief that's affecting you in a lot of different places. And a coach can help you to uncover what that is and to come up with plans so that when you hear that limiting belief talking to you, you know, you can be like, oh, there it is, rather than sit in procrastination or sit in, you know, feeling down about something. Like, oh, there it is. Now here's what I need to do.
to help identify that voice in your own
Right.
head and tell it to be quiet when it needs to be.
Right. Thank you very much. But we're moving forward.
Right. So if anybody needs some help finding out their limiting beliefs or helping to get over them a little bit, how can they reach out to you?
So I can be reached at kim@adventuresandcoaching.com, or just go to my website, adventuresandcoaching.com, and I have a little form that you can fill out and send me more information about what you're looking for and what your challenges and what you think your opportunities might be. So love to hear from you.
Well, fantastic. Kim Smith of Adventures in Coaching, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ben.
And we'll be right back after a short break with a little bit more show for you right after this.
It's been a delightful Sunday morning here on Wasatch Weekends. I'm your host, Kimberly Pro. If you are looking for something great to do, go over to the new show for the ballet Next performance today at 3 p.m. You can head to the Park City Institute for their website to get more information. Next time, I'll see you tomorrow.